Hello YouTube, Vidhead85 here. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode here. I want to mention Michigan. Michigan has become a pro-voter rights paradise, for lack of a better way to put it. After 2018 and 2022, Michigan voters passed two propositions that strengthened voter rights. So here we go. I'm going to breeze through this as quickly as possible so that we can pretty much get a taste for this case. So Michigan voter reforms decided by federal court. So let's go into who brought this case. Jonathan Lindsay, who's a state senator, likely Republican, as well as one other state senator and 9 representatives, initiated this case against Gretchen Whitmer in her official capacity as Michigan's governor, Jocelyn Benson in her official capacity as Michigan Secretary of State, and Jonathan Brater in his official capacity as Michigan's Director of Elections. Plaintiffs seek declaratory and injunctive relief related to their claim that Michigan's adoption of constitutional amendments through citizen-led initiative process violates their rights as legislators, taxpayers, and voters under the Elections Clause of the U.S. Constitution. Defendants move to dismiss. So, a little bit of background with Michigan Ballot Proposal 3 was a citizen-initiated ballot initiative approved by Michigan voters as part of the 2018 federal elections. The proposal reformed Michigan elections by protecting the right to a secret ballot, ensuring access to ballots for military and overseas voters, added straight ticket voting, automatically registering voters, allowing any citizen to vote at any time provided they have proof of residency, allowing access to absentee ballots for any reason, and auditing election results. The measure amended Section 4 of Article 2 of the Michigan Constitution. The proposal was approved with 67% of the vote. State legislative approval was not obtained for the amendment because such approval is not required. In 2022, Michigan Ballot Proposal 2, the Right to Vote Voting Policies Amendment, aka Promote the Vote, or Proposal 2 from here on in, was a citizen-initiated proposed constitutional amendment in the state of Michigan, which was voted as a part of the 2022 Michigan elections. The amendment changed voting procedures in Michigan with the stated goal of making it easier to vote. On September 9, 2022, the Michigan Supreme Court ruled that the initiative should be placed in front of on the November ballot, and the measure amended Article 2, Sections 4 and 7 of the Michigan Constitution. Proposal 2 was approved with 60% of the vote. Again, state legislative approval was not obtained for the amendment because such approval is not required. According to the plaintiffs, the amendments are not constitutionally enacted and are legally null and void because the state's legislative approval and state legislators' participation are not required, and the process violated plaintiffs' rights, federal rights under the Elections Clause. For the following reasons, the court grants defendant's motion, closes the case, and therefore dismisses as moot the other motions pending in this case. Defendants argue that the plaintiffs lack standing to bring their claims against them, where all 3 of their theories of injury fly in the face of controlling precedent. Defendants argue that even if plaintiffs could identify a concrete and particularized injury, their claim also suffers from 2 other fatal Article 3 flaws. Their requests for invalidation of the 2022 and 2018 amendments are not redressable because the legislature has independently codified nearly all of the policies into Michigan's election statutes, and 2, their freewheeling challenge to a future unidentified use of the proposal process to regulate federal elections is far too speculative to satisfy Article 3's eminence requirement. Pretty much saying that their claim is too broad here. They assert that an individual legislator's loss of this right or privilege is not an institutional injury. Last, plaintiffs argue that their claims are not speculative but are targeted against the process of adopting these constitutional amendments without state legislative approval, specifically as it relates to regulating federal elections. The court says that the plaintiff's argument has merit. First, plaintiffs argue that they have individual legislative standing to challenge the usurpation of state legislative powers. However, the fact that the voters can propose initiatives already throws that out. Plaintiffs assert that, okay, so pretty much I want to point this out here. As defendants point out, The Supreme Court of the United States and the Sixth Circuit have directly rejected these types of legislator standing. The Supreme Court has expressly held that individual members lack standing to assert the interests of a legislature from Virginia House of Delegates versus Bethune-Hill in 2019. So pretty much the motion to dismiss was granted, and I am really happy about that because per Michigan law, the initiated constitutional amendments have muster because legislative approval is not necessary. And the fact that the Supreme Court and the Sixth Circuit, who are both high appellate districts for Michigan, have said that one legislator can't just say, hey, we're suing on behalf of the legislature and pass muster is a great thing here. I'm so glad that it has been upheld. I wonder if it will, in fact, be appealed. It likely will. But I'm happy that these proposals have also been codified in Michigan law and will stand to have more voters, and we'll have more, making it easier to vote will be the law of the land in Michigan. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode, and I just love pro-voting rights rulings because, let's face it, the Supreme Court being hostile to voting rights in the last couple of years has really been a bit. So, talk to you soon. Have a great day.